Watching JoyNews Interactive, and it's Wednesday, so it's time for Tech Talk. Good morning, Spiky.
Good morning, Maps.
How are you?
I'm very well. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. All right, so what do you have for us today?
A lot of people have been asking this question. I've got some files that are very sensitive to me. I want to secure those files, and I don't want people to be able to access them. I want to put a password on it. By default, your computer cannot do that if you're using a Windows. But if you're using a Mac, yes, it can do that. So I'll start with the Windows. Maps, do you have any files you want to protect?
Always.
Selinam, do you?
I do, a lot.
What kind of files would you want to protect? You guys don't work for like a CIA or FBI.
If I told you that, I'd have to kill you. You know that, right?
Yeah, I know. So let's just assume that these budget documents are files that you want to protect with a password. There are two applications that are easy to use. They're for compression. When you want to send a file that is very big, you compress them, right?
Yeah.
So that same compression software can also secure these files. You have software called WinRAR, which you usually see with this icon over here that looks like a book. So when you select the files that you want to encrypt, all you do is you right-click on it, and then you go to Add to Archive. If you're using WinRAR, you go to Add to Archive. It brings you this dialog box. All you have to do is click on Set Password. Then you get to enter your password. It'll ask you to re-enter your password for verification. You can opt to show the password while you're entering it. That's because maybe you don't know what you're typing. But when you click on Show Password, it only gives you one option, which means that you don't need to verify it because you actually know it, because you're seeing it. And then you can encrypt the file names. This is not necessary, but if you're very security conscious, you'll do that. Once you're done and you enter the password, you just hit OK, and then the file will be encrypted. What it does is it puts it in an archive like this. So anytime you try to open that file, it'll ask for a password. If you don't want to use WinRAR, you want to use 7-zip, it's the same process, but a little different. You right-click on it, you go to the 7-zip option, and then you go to Add to Archive, same as you did with the previous way. So once you do that, it brings you the option in the same window as you opened it. And then you enter your password, you re-enter your password. Once again, when you go to Show Password, it reduces it to just one box for you to enter the password. It is encrypted with AES 256 bits, which is actually very, very secure. Once you do that, you are secured.
So, Sparky, what happens when you forget your password?
You'll have to hire a hacker to try and crack it. And if it's a very complicated password, it will take a very long time. Because this is a 256-bit encryption. That's one of the highest and most secure ways to encrypt files. So if you're like me and you forget things, you might want to write it down somewhere, not the password, but the way you would remember the password. So like a hint, you know? So in my case, when I use letters, I write them in numbers, but I somehow have my own cryptography. If you're listening, don't think you can hack me. It's not possible.
But then what happens when you can't find a hacker and you just can't access your files? Do I have to delete them?
Well, you lost it, so you might as well just delete it.
Okay.
It doesn't have a backup?
Well, it wouldn't be secured again if you had a backup now, would it?
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, you want to secure. You don't want people to be able to get it. Anyway, if you're using a Mac, it's the same. It's not the same, but it's the same technology that does it. So there's an application called a disk utility. So you hold your Command key, your Shift key, and then press the A button on your keyboard. It brings up your applications. Once you go into your applications, you look for utilities, where you find the utilities on your Mac. Once you open the utilities, you'll see there's an application called Disk Utility. Open it. Once you open Disk Utility, you go straight into File. Once it's open, you go to File, you click on New Image, and then under New Image, you'll see Image from Folder. That means that you want to create an image of a folder. Once you create Image from Folder, you choose the folder that you want to encrypt the files in. And then you choose Read or Write. So this allows that image that you're creating to be either readable and writable. Now, once that's selected, you can opt for 128-bit encryption. Remember when I said Windows, it was 256. So you have that option here, but you can opt for 128. 128 is not as secure, but it's not also very easy to hack. But it's faster. So if you don't want to sit down and wait, say you have a lot of files, you don't want to sit down and wait the whole time, you can choose 128. But if you have time, choose 256. It's more secure, but it'll be slower. Once you're done, you enter your password, you verify that the password that you enter the first time is the same thing, and then you give it a name. So as you can see here, it says logged stuff, and it has a password. Then it creates the image for you, creating logstuff.dmg. That's the image. Once it's done, it says operation successful. You click done, and you're done. So anytime you try to open the file, you're asked to enter a password. The good thing about this is that you can always add files as and when. So once you mount it and you want to add files, just drag them and drop them in the mounted image like you would do a pen drive, because it actually appears like your pen drive on your Mac. You drag and drop the files in there and you're good.
Thank you very much, Spiky. That's all for Tech Talk.
You're welcome.
Before we end the show, let's take our video of the day.
And that's how we end today's show. Send us a message on WhatsApp with any questions or comments about today's show. 055-815-7074. 055-815-7074. I am Selinam Ampo.
And I'm Apita CBD. You can join the conversation on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We're JoyNews on TV. Feel free to tweet at us, send us a DM, or tag us on all our platforms. Thank you for watching and enjoy the rest of your Wednesday.